I believe in treating every species with the respect they deserve. After all, if an animal is one way, it's because decades of evolution hold it as the best it could do. And that's wonderful, of course. But by human standards of judging things, the northern snake-necked turtle is a bit of a fail animal. I mean this with endearment, of course. The snake-necked turtle is a wonderful species with an expansive array of wonderful facets. But, well, here's the thing that strikes me as odd about this animal. Snake-necked turtles fall under what herpetologists call side-necked turtles, where, to protect themselves, they tuck their head in their shell by curling it around the frontal opening. This is peculiar because the other class of turtles, front-necked turtles, hide their heads with the more conventional route, by tucking it in, well, forgive my crudeness, but like you would with a sausage in the devil's umbrella. This strategy is much more effective because it leaves less of your head exposed, whereas the snake-necked turtle strategy leaves them still quite vulnerable. So much neck meat exposed. Good heavens. That's only one of the snake-necked turtle's defense mechanisms, but the others aren't any more useful. Good afternoon. Welcome to Herp Corner, the series where we delve into the more exceptional species of reptiles and amphibians. I'm your host for today, Glaber, here to tell you about this little animal, the snake-necked turtle. What's wonderful about chelonians to me is their sharp beaks. Unlike most reptiles, they possess these strong pointed lips that resemble bird beaks, leading turtles and tortoises to possess a bite that beats any non-venomous reptiles by a long shot, in terms of painfulness, of course. I find this ability extraordinary, but it seems the northern snake-necked turtle disagrees. They seldomly ever use this ability. If you ever were to encounter this species in their natural habitat of Queensland and Papua New Guinea, if you pick them up by the sides of their shell, well, they have that long neck. Side-necked turtles like them tend to be blessed with this wonderful ability to stretch backwards and strike when the source of their disturbance least expects it. Never approach a wild turtle for this exact reason. But snake-necked turtles don't do this. They instead choose to flail around, which may work when dealing with something, though I can't imagine what, but for dealing with an animal as large as myself with any kind of grabbers seems ineffective. But I'm sure there is more to this defense mechanism that I am unaware of. After all, they're the ones that are doing it. Though, as ineffectual as their defense mechanisms may seem, they harbor an adaptability that I must commend. Snake-necked turtles have a wonderful resilience to pH levels in the waters they reside. From Queensland to Indonesia, they enjoy a variety of their waters. Their locales offer muddy wetlands with thick, acidic water and large schools of fish to feed off of, but are also on occasion clear waters and dense coverings of duckweed and lily pads. With their non-violent defense mechanisms and various locales, you'd be forgiven for mistaking them as tree-hugging pacifists. And, well, it does seem like it, doesn't it? But they're not completely herbivorous. Because of snake-necked turtles lounging in such diverse conditions, their diet also shifts parallel to where they are. Freshwater species enjoy feasting on Murray cods, fly-speck hardyheads, southern pygmy parches, mosquito fish, and silver perches, just to name a few. Mostly fish on the smaller side, but here it becomes easy to see where that long neck comes in handy. When they're not basking, snake-necked turtles rest at the bottom of their waterways, camouflaged against the substrate, until some small fish swims past. When they outstretch their head and swallow it whole, they need no rows of teeth, of course, because they rarely chew their own food. Beaks are useful for the diets of turtles since they are omnivorous, but especially when tearing through prey or vegetation. More herbivorous inclined snake-necked turtles tend to lean towards feasting on the duckweed floating on their waterway's surface. Since their discovery in 1841, it seems a bulk of scientific study has focused on where they sit taxonomically. Herpetologists long wondered, are they better as Chelodina rugosa, Chelodina coli, or Chelodina oblonga? Now, I'm sure this conversation is absolutely necessary for some bureaucratic documentation, but as someone more interested in the tangible aspects of this species, you can see how that seems a little pointless, doesn't it? Is having systems for understanding the world and the species in it important? Absolutely. But 90% of the papers I find on the snake-necked turtle are just bickering about what nomenclature to use. What a nightmare for the curious researcher who cares not for their taxonomic affairs. Chelidina rugosa is their accepted scientific name at this moment of recording. Why not? I have no opinion on this discourse, as it affects me about as much as it affects the actual animal. That is to say, not at all. But putting aside that headache of labels, let's look at the much simpler names for this species. Well, we have the English names for them, which are northern snake-necked turtle, narrow-breasted snake-necked turtle, oblong turtle, and southwestern long-necked turtle. We also have nothing. Only their English common names and scientific names have been documented. That's fine. That's okay. I'm sure the indigenous people of that area have absolutely no name for this relatively common species. That's alright. The IUCN Red List classifies them as near threatened. Oh goodness. The assessment of snake-necked turtles hasn't been updated since 1996. They also haven't documented the species distribution worldwide, and we don't even know where their population is expected to be in the near future. Listen, I would love to assume the best in the herpetologists who've taken their time studying this species, but, good lord, why is there such an absence in a species that allegedly isn't rare at all? Why have researchers been toiling away at their taxonomic labels rather than the very basics of their ecosystems? What are the population's threats? What are they predated by? How are they used or looked at by the Aboriginal people? How long do they live? How many are even out there? But don't worry, there is some respite from this infuriating management of species records. We do in fact know quite a bit about their reproductive habits. Turns out they're not too dissimilar from what you may already expect from aquatic turtles. They lay deposits of around 12 eggs in shallow waters, specifically in soft substrates of a billabong. During the dry season, when water recedes, the embryos pause their development and only resume once the water covers them again. Around 70 days after they resume development, the hatchlings leave their leathery eggshells and crawl into the water. Besides this, there is a notable sexual dimorphism. Female snake-necked turtles possess much shorter, stubbier tails than their male counterparts. But this is all we know about the northern snake-necked turtle. They seem to me an example of how unnecessary taxonomic scrutiny sometimes distracts from what we're truly in it for, the animal. The snake-necked turtles, whether they're least concern or near threatened, possess a deeply fascinating set of peculiarities that have gone far too long obscured. What do you think? What other species can you think of that have been unfortunately neglected by the herpetological community? Let me know in the comments below. That will be all for me for today. Take care.